As a business, you may find yourself in the dilemma that you can no longer handle the work alone and need help. But should you look for a subcontractor or hire someone as an employee? If you don't make the right decision, it can result in a fine of hundreds of thousands of krones. Today's podcast episode provides the answers to this dilemma.
Welcome to the Business Lessons in Denmark podcast. My name is Edina Bohos, and I am here with my colleague Katalin Balog. We are owners of Cool Accounts APS, a Danish accounting office. Hi, Kati. We have had a very busy week, but it's time to record our next podcast. Are you ready?
Yes, I couldn't be more ready.
Okay, super. Last time we spoke about how can be the business a real business.
Yeah.
And now in this episode, we will talk about the employees. So we realized much people just are afraid of hire an employee, but why? Because maybe they think it can be more responsibility, it's too expensive, they have extra administration and so on. Is it true? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yes, there is more responsibility for an employer when you have employees. You will have more responsibility. You will also have some extra administration. And yes, you will have some extra expenses. That's true. However, there are situations when this is the right solution anyway, to hire somebody as an employee. So I think we should look over the characteristics of an employee today to make sure that somebody in a situation like that can decide if the person they want to work with, should that person be an employee, or how should this situation be solved?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for example, if I have the bike shop and I just become bigger and bigger and I cannot really manage it alone and I really need someone. So maybe I have a cousin or a neighbor or someone who can help me at weekends or something like that. So should I hire him or force him to be business, or what can I do?
Yeah, you mean that maybe you would think of asking him to open a business?
Yes, because maybe it's more easier for me.
Yeah, it's easier for you if he
Yes.
has a business.
Yes, and I just got an invoice every month, and that's all.
Yeah, right. Yes. The problem is that to be a business, he has to be a real business, as we talked about last time. And if you work together in a certain way, and this way is the employee way, like he works in a way as an employee, then he is really an employee. So I think today we should talk about the characteristics of an employee. When is somebody an employee? Because this is what decides if he is he's an employee or not.
Okay, I'm really curious. So,
Yeah.
can we start?
Yes, let's start with this point of having a boss. So if you have a relationship that you are a boss, like you are his boss, and he is in a junior position, that is, you are the one who tells him what to do, how to do it, when to do it. This indicates that he is actually an employee. Another thing is that if he only gives his labor, you are the one who takes all the risks. Then again, he doesn't take any risk in his working, then he is probably rather an employee than a real business. So in the bike shop, you are the one who has to pay for all these bikes that you bought. You are the one who has to pay for the shop itself. So you are the one who has the risk. You had the investment. He doesn't have any risk in this. He just comes in and does the work. He starts at 8 o'clock and he leaves at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
He just works for you. He doesn't take any risk. So then he is probably an employee. He's not a real business.
Okay, I understand. And should I provide all the tools and materials and everything for the work?
Yeah, I mean, also this, if he's an employee and you are the employer, then you are the one who provides all these things, the materials, the tools, the
Okay.
machines, everything. Again, if he doesn't provide anything, then he is probably an employee and he is not a business himself.
Ah, okay.
And I mean, in the bike shop, what could this be? I mean, the bikes themselves.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that you sell, right?
Yeah.
You are the one who bought them,
Yeah.
not him.
Yeah. And maybe we have a computer,
Yeah,
or I don't know, we have
yeah,
different kind of things.
yeah, exactly.
I don't have really experience about it, but I can imagine.
Yeah, exactly. So you have the computers, right?
Yeah.
Not him.
Yes.
So it's your tools that you are using, that he is using. So then he is probably an employee.
Okay. Very good. And what about the salary? How can I pay for this person?
Yeah. Again, if the payment happens in a way that is usual to a salary, then he is probably an employee. What I mean here, if you pay an hourly rate, for example, that is very typical to an employment relationship. Exactly. If you pay regularly, once in a month or once in every second week, again, this is very usual in an employment relationship. So if this is how he gets his money, then he is probably an employee and not a business.
Okay, and how can it work if I just want to say goodbye to this person?
I mean, if he has a period of notice, again, that indicates that he's an employee, really.
Okay.
If this is what you mean, right?
Yes,
Yeah, because
exactly.
employees usually have a period of notice. I mean, it can be different. It can be 1 month. Often it is longer than 1 month if
Okay.
you want to give the
Because if
notice.
I work with a subcontractor, I just can say, okay, tomorrow you don't have to come. But
Yeah.
I cannot do it with an employee, right?
Exactly, exactly. Also, there is one other point that if he only works for one customer, if he only works for you, then again, this indicates that he is in fact an employee.
Yeah. Okay. Clear. And does this person has any financial responsibility?
I mean, if he doesn't have financial responsibility, then again, it indicates that he is in fact an employee.
Yeah, because we talked at the beginning. I have the risk. I have to buy all the bikes and everything. So the risk is for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
You have the risk and you have the financial responsibility. So if you
Okay.
sell a bike that doesn't work, you are responsible for that.
Okay.
Or let's take another example. If your cousin who works for you in the bike shop,
Yeah.
he sells a bike from your shop to a customer, but the bike doesn't work. So if you have the responsibility for that, then again, he is not a business owner. He's an employee to you, and
Yeah.
you are the business owner.
Yes. Okay. Clear. So then I try to summarize.
Yeah.
So according to this, if I understand correctly, if I bear the risk, I provide the tools, materials, business premises. I regularly pay the person who works for me, which I calculate in the usual way in an employment relationship, for example, hourly. The person works only for me or mostly for me. Even if I ask him to open a business, is he still actually an employee?
Exactly. This is the point.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not enough for him to send you an invoice, like he opens a business and he sends you an invoice every month. If this is how you two work together, then he is not a business. He is an employee
Mm-hmm.
because of all these things that we have just talked over. And then he's an employee. In fact, we can call him a hidden employee. And if you didn't employ him, this can have bad consequences for you.
Oh, what consequences are you thinking of?
Well, I'm thinking of the consequence that you are actually his employer. That means you should have taken advance taxes from his pay.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't do that. He sent you an invoice, you paid the full invoice, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it turns out he is not a business, he is actually an employee.
Mm-hmm.
You are responsible for deducting advance taxes from his salary. You didn't do that. You should have do that. You should have done that.
Mm-hmm.
So now the tax agency can say, well, you were responsible for this, and we ask you politely to send the money to us.
Politely. Oh, they are so cute. Okay.
Yeah, politely or not. But anyway, the
Okay.
point is that you will probably
Mm-hmm.
have to pay
Mm-hmm.
that money that you didn't deduct.
Yeah.
Now, imagine your cousin works for you full time. Maybe he earns, I don't know, 30,000
Mm-hmm.
a month, and he worked for you for a year. How
Oh.
much money is that?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, maybe in a month you should have deducted, I don't know, 10, 15,000
Yeah.
krones
Yeah, it can be.
from him as advance tax.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do that. However, you still have to pay that money to the tax office.
Aye.
And you have already paid it to him.
Yeah.
And now you can run after your money
Mm.
and try to get the money back from him.
Yeah.
Good luck to that.
Maybe if he's my cousin, maybe I have a good chance.
Yeah.
Maybe
Unless
not.
he has used the money already.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Oi.
So that's why it's very important, as we talked in the beginning,
Mm.
if you are going to work in this kind of relation, then even though it will cost you some extra money and it will cause you some extra administration and
Mm.
it will cause you some responsibility, it's still better to hire him as an employee than to go into this other kind of
Mm-hmm.
forcing him into opening a
Yeah.
business and so on, when actually he's not a real business.
Yeah. So, okay, it can have a big danger actually if
Yeah.
I make a wrong decision,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So, apart from the tax and the specific legal rules, there is also a side to this that you can build a better team if you have employees than if you work with subcontractors who build their own business.
Yeah, that's another side of it, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have your own team. They all work together for your business. Also, your image can be
Mm-hmm.
better because they wear your uniform
Yeah.
and so on. So there is also this side to that.
Okay. So now we discussed who can be considered an employee. In the previous episode, we reviewed the characteristic of a business. But there is also a third legal form, and this is the freelancer.
Yeah, exactly. There is also a legal relationship called freelancer. It is actually good to know about that too, because sometimes it can be handy. And we will talk about this and all the secrets about this in our next episode.
I will be here.
Great.
Super. So thank you for all the useful information. We also thank the listener for being here with us. Today's episode was sponsored by Cool Accounts APS. Cool Accounts APS can help with starting your company, with bookkeeping and tax matters. In addition, we also provide business and financial consulting. If you liked the show, then follow us and like our Facebook page. If you would like to contact us, you can do so via our website www.accounts.cool. We wish you a successful week.